going on, you guys? As we still wait for the fight to get officially announced, salute to my boy YSM Sports Media and Greg Hackett. They was talking about the fight. And Greg Hackett said something that your boy Bushido been saying. That Terence Crawford got more knockouts than Spence got fights. And it's been a debate as to who's the harder puncher. And this is going to only intensify once this thing officially gets announced. But check out what Greg Hackett and my boy YSM Sports Media had to say about who hits harder. Check it out.
At 147 pounds.
Yeah. 29 knockouts.
29 knockouts,
yeah.
Right? So guys like to use that he's not a full welterweight.
Yeah.
But he stopped everybody at welterweight.
Yeah.
Who do you feel like is the harder puncher in this bout?
Bud is definitely the harder puncher. Bud, 29 knockouts, got more knockouts than Spence got fights. Even though Spence right behind him with 28-0, but with 22 knockouts. Bud is definitely the harder puncher. Definitely, for sure. I don't care what nobody say. Definitely the harder puncher. And he's the sneakier puncher. I think that's why. Errol, when he punch you, you can see the punches. The thing is, what you gonna do about it? That's the thing. Now with Spence, with Crawford, these niggas crazy. With Crawford, he'll throw some shit that you don't see. Hit you on the top of your head, hit you in your neck, punch you in your shoulder. The shit might hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like a great fighter, you gotta scratch. A great fighter gonna scratch. And what I mean by scratch is he gonna find any tool he got in the box and use it, and he gonna put it together. I really do believe Bud is the harder puncher.
Now, after hearing what they had to say, right? And of course, my boy YSM is the interviewer. He's gonna ask the question. Greg Hackett responded. You heard his response. And one may say Spence is the bigger puncher. He's the harder puncher because he's naturally the bigger guy. And while they may be right, you also have to look at the fact that Errol Spence hasn't necessarily had a stoppage prior to Ugas in years, right? Also, you got to look at the fact that Errol Spence may not be as a big a puncher as he could be because he's been cut down to that weight for so long, right? Terence Crawford, while he may not be the bigger guy, his punches seem to really hurt these guys. He seemed to really put these guys down. He seems to really put a beating on these guys. Errol Spence seems like more of a punisher guy. His shots hurt. Bam, bam, he's bouncing off you, hitting you. Woo, woo, woo. One of those shots. Crawford's like, wow. Like a whip. So, who's the harder puncher? Who knows? But I can tell you this. Terence Crawford is the better puncher. I'm not quite sure who's the harder puncher, me personally, right? But I do know what I have seen. I have seen Crawford hurt guys with a variety of different punches from both hands. I haven't seen that from Errol Spence Jr. I seen him beat up on guys like Pinatas, and they still standing to the 12th round. And you got to ask yourself, if Crawford was beating up on guys like that, the same guys that Spence was standing there beating up on, Crawford likely would have stopped those guys, right? Because that's what he does. He knows how to stop you. He stops fighters. But I think the punch that's going to really be the most important in this fight is the punch neither fighter sees. And who's able to deploy such a tactic, a punch that a guy won't be able to see? Well, that's Terence Crawford. That guy is Terence Crawford because he doesn't have a set approach. You don't necessarily know what he's going to throw. You don't know what he's going to do. But for Errol Spence, and Errol Spence fans hate this stuff, but this is just me trying to look at it stylistically, right? You kind of know what he's going to do. Jab, 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 straight left. And if he overreaches, he's going to throw some body shots, try to throw a body shot in there, dip his head down, try to pivot off on the side a little bit if he's able to do so. But it's kind of repetitive and it's kind of the same thing over and over and over again, right? Not to mention, these guys are standing there with their high guard up, bracing themselves for the power that he's throwing. But with Crawford, when you look back at certain fights, these guys didn't see these punches coming. The shot Kell Brook got hit with, didn't see that coming, right? Or whenever he knock an opponent down, the shot with Victor Postal, he caught him, boom, running in. He didn't see that coming. So Errol Spence has to be very careful going in there with this dude, because he might get hit with some shit he may not see coming. But I agree with Greg Hackett. He also said some other things. He think that people underestimate Crawford because of his size. He think they underestimate him because he got hit in a fight, you know, and things of that nature, right? Should be a good fight. Should be a really good fight once we actually get it. But it's going to be a heavy debate as to who's the harder puncher. I mean, I'm not mad at anybody for saying it's Spence. He is the naturally bigger guy. However, when we look at what have you done for me lately, Crawford been on an absolute tear. He been stopping everybody in his path. The last guy he didn't stop was Victor Postal. Look how long ago that was. 6-0, 6 knockouts at welterweight, a higher weight class. The last guy he didn't stop was Victor Postal. Look how long ago that was, people. So who's really the bigger puncher? Errol Spence Jr. or Terence Crawford? Like, subscribe, holla at your boy. Peace out.